This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, friends. In this BA Master Program, in today's session, we'll talk about loading data from on-premise SQL Server to ADLS Gen2. What is on-premise? What is on-premise?
Local system.
Local system.
Maybe local
Okay,
system
so
or
it can
SQL
be a
Server.
local system or it can be so it will be like two different ways you can think of. One is it can be your local system. Another one is the system which is there in another network. Okay, another private network. Example, what we are going to consider is, in our case, we will consider a Azure virtual machine. Okay, what we will consider? We will consider a Azure virtual machine which is there completely in a new another network. Okay, Azure VM in another network. Okay, Azure VM in another network. Basically, this is a Azure virtual machine which is there in another network. So what I am trying to do is I am trying to move data from that Azure virtual machine to that virtual machine to or blob or data lake storage Gen2. You know, so data lake storage Gen2 is nothing but a hierarchical namespace. So what I'll try to do is I'll try to load data from Azure virtual machine in another network to the ADLS Gen2. Now, as it is in the another network, it's kind of on-premise. So within Azure virtual machine, let's say I already have SQL Server. What I have in this SQL Server. Okay, so within the SQL Server, first what I'll do, I'll connect to the SQL Server. Once I connected to the SQL Server, within the SQL Server, I'll create the database. So what is this? This is a SQL Server. We already talked about SQL Server and SQL database relation. Server is the person who serves the request as per the user needs, but the entire data will be there in the database. Database. So now SQL Server is there in virtual machine. Database there under SQL Server. Now in SQL database, let's say you have multiple tables. It can be first EMP or any other table you have. So what you need to do is you need to ingest this entire data from SQL database to data lake storage Gen2. So for that, you know already how many linked services we need. So this is the ADF I am using to do this particular entire process. But now my question is, how many linked services we need?
Two.
Two.
Two linked services. Okay. This is a one linked service. This is another linked service. Okay. So if you remember, whenever we are creating linked services, what all options we are choosing? Anybody remember? What all options we are selecting when we are, what all options we are selecting when we are creating the linked service? Anybody remember?
Integration runtime.
Very good. One is integration runtime we are choosing. The type of integration runtime we are using is auto resolve integration runtime. That is the default integration runtime which is available in the Azure Data Factory. So people whoever did not know that, so do not worry about it. I am going to show you each and everything. Okay, and I'll take a one theoretical session on the integration runtimes. So different types of integration runtimes, when to use what type of integration runtime. So all those things I am going to discuss. Okay, fine. So integration runtime is different types of integration runtimes you need to use based on the network that you are connecting. As of yesterday, so to which all services you connected? Only Azure services you connected, isn't it? Isn't it? So today what we are doing, within the Azure service, in another network we have a SQL Server. So if you want to connect to outside of Azure services, like if I need to connect to my local computer, I need a special type of integration runtime that you need to install it. Similarly, this is the Azure virtual machine. Inside Azure virtual machine, if you want to access any SQL server, as this is in another network, so you have a SQL server. If you want to access the SQL server also, you need a special type of integration runtime. So anybody have any idea what type of IR we need to use? Self-hosted. Self means what? Ourself have to host. Self-hosted IR. What is the meaning of self-hosted? Hosting means organizing or setting up. Okay. Self means ourself. Self-hosted IR. Whatever IR we have installed. So that particular thing we need to use. That's why the name also self-hosted. Self. We need to host. We need to set up the IR if you want to connect to our own laptop, or if you want to connect to any servers which are there in a virtual machine. This virtual machine is there in another network, not in a same network. This is not in a same network where you have your ADLS Gen2, where you have data factory and other stuff. This basically uses the another network. Clear to all of you? Okay, good. Now, so first thing what I'll do, I'll show you how to create this virtual machine, because this virtual machine itself takes a 10 minutes to create. So that's why first I'll show you this virtual machine to create. Then second step, I'll show you how to create ADLS Gen2. Third step, I'll tell you how to create ADM. So once we understand creation of the services, then I'll come back and I'll explain to you what all things we are going to do in today's session. So first thing is, how many of you aware, how many of you don't know how to copy multiple tables from? Okay, so this lab is the prerequisite. How to copy multiple tables from Azure SQL database to Blob Student. So how many of you don't know this lab? Rahul Jain, when you say you don't know, you have not practiced anything.
No, I got confused. Sorry, my bad. I thought this is something new.
No. This is how to copy multiple tables
No.
from Azure.
Yeah, I got confused. Yeah, this is I know.
Everybody know this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We need to create a metadata table. I explained all those things, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So this is something prerequisite. Okay, so if you know this, so this will be very easy. First thing what I'll do, I'll set up all the required environment. I'll just move on here. Tell.azure.com. So very important. Okay, so it is 1 second. See 2700. I need to see. I don't know why you people are just simply creating all these things. 1 second. See, this is already gone, friends. Okay. So as I mentioned, people are using this particular account for their personal use, and already this 13,000 is completed. Okay, 14,000 rupees. Just as people are using for their own purposes. Okay. So that's why. So I'll just tell you after today's session how to create account. So everybody, please create your own account. Okay. Now come to virtual missions. Here, go to virtual missions. Click create virtual mission. What is virtual machine? Virtual machine means same computer, but this like example, there is a laptop in front of me. So I can able to touch it, I can able to see, but this mission, this laptop, whatever we are taking, this you will not be able to see. You will not be able to touch it, but you can able to just use how I am using my laptop. Similarly, you can use this particular laptop also, which is not physically touch, which you cannot see physically. Okay, only you can able to connect and you can able to use. That's why this is a virtual machine. Virtually somewhere you have, and you are accessing through the network. Okay, resource group. So I'll just create a new resource group for today. Okay, so Cloud Pandit one on premise, or you can say Cloud Pandit 10 icon RC. Okay, virtual machine name I'll say Cloud Pandit VM, Cloud Pandit VM. Otherwise, you can say Cloud Azure VM, Azure SQL DB VM. Okay, you just mention like that. Azure SQL Server VM, because Azure VM SQL Server, Azure VM SQL Server. So Azure VM with a SQL Server, both will be there in this mission. Now, how you will say Azure Virtual Machine is having SQL Server is, if you come down, you see here images, right? Here Ubuntu is nothing but a Linux systems. So what I need is Windows laptop. I need with a SQL Server installed in it. I need a Windows laptop with a SQL Server installed. You need to search here how SQL Server. You need to search. When you search SQL Server, see SQL Server 2019 installed on a Windows Server 2019. So you just come here and you can just select whatever you want to select. So I'll just go with standard. Okay. So this is the image I have selected. This is the image I have selected. Okay. Yes. So you can see SQL Server 2019 standard and Windows Server 2019 Gen 1. So in which region? Japan East, or you want to go with East US? You can just choose East US. See, free services eligible. You just go with the free services eligible. The size is currently unavailable in East US of the subscription, not available. Okay, fine. So what is that? It has taken Japan East. So yeah, so Japan East only you choose, because in Japan East it is allowing you to create. So in any region wherever is possible, you can just create it. Okay. Now username, I'm just setting my username. So this is my password. I just set my username and I set password. Then this is basically a virtual machine. If you want to connect to the virtual machine, you need to use this username. Okay. So what is the username? Username to connect to virtual machine is Malay. Okay. VM credentials. Suppose if I want to connect to the SQL server which is there in this, how you will say SQL server is there? You come to SQL server settings. So in SQL server settings, you can also enable other type of authentication called SQL authentication. Click on this. So here I'll say, instead of Malaya, I'll say Cloud. So now you need to understand SQL server password is what? SQL server authentication, or you can say credentials. What is the credentials for SQL Server? Username is Cloud. P Pandra is saying not audible. The same issue to all of you. Sai Sharath Triveni, can you confirm, friends? Are you all able to hear me?
No, we can hear you.
Yeah, so whoever is having issue, please rejoin. Okay. So this is the VM credentials. This is the SQL Server credentials. Now come down. That's all you need to do. Okay, just click. So because other options you no need to worry. And next thing is this virtual machine you are not responsible to set up. Basically, when they are setting up, they'll take care of the networks and all. But to see default virtual network, default subnet and all, we are going with. Okay. But in real time, based on the client network availability and all, they'll just set up the networks. So that is one more thing extra they will do. So we are not touching that. We are going with the default. Click view the screen.
Malay, one question.
Yes.
So this virtual machine name, is it is it unique, or is it like dependent upon the account, Azure account?
Virtual mission name is globally unique or not, I need to check it, because I did not remember. The reason is virtual mission and all I won't create very frequently. That's why I did not remember. So you can check simply. You go there, you Azure VM. So if somebody might have used, it should not see. Azure VM is the name that is very like everybody try to give, right? So
Right.
somebody might have taken already Azure VM. If the Azure VM is available means, then it's not a universally unique. Okay, it's not a global unique, it's a individual for each account unique name. but most of the Azure services are like global unique names you need to provide.
Okay. Thank you, Manish.
Thank you. So virtual machine we are creating. So let's see. Now you come to second tab. I'll create the data lake storage Gen2. Prithvi, tell me how to create data lake storage Gen2. Yes, even if you keep VM idle, it charges from the users. So you need to stop it. I'll tell you how to stop it. Even if you stop it, minimal charges will be there because backend storages, everything will be attached to the VM. Okay. Fine. Prithvi, are you there? You have not joined.
Sir, I think
Prithvi, tell me how to create data lake storage Gen2. Huh?
my net has got disconnected, sir. I reconnected again.
I am asking how to create data lake storage Gen2.
Okay. Go to storage accounts.
Okay.
Create.
Yeah, sure, Anil. I'll just tell you.
Give the resource group name and storage name.
Cloud Paddhati 10 icon. Cloud.
In advanced, we have to enable this.
See, this name is already taken. 1706 to the data available. Next,
In advanced tab,
advanced.
we have to enable this enable hierarchical names.
Hierarchical names is very good. Just enable. Yesterday we have seen the exact differences, right?
Yes, sir.
So storage account is also created. Now we need to create Azure Data Factory. I hope everybody know how to create Azure Data Factory. Condense. So you need to create Data Factory. Cloud Pandit ADF V2 1706. Okay, so today date. Git configuration, enable later, click review. Click review. So you are aware of this, right? So SQL virtual machine is installing, data lake storage Gen2 is installed, data factory also. Now I will tell you only the hard work that we need to do is this installation of self-hosted IR. How to install the self-hosted IR, I will tell you. Okay. So first thing, let's go to the Azure Data Factory. We will try to understand few things. Meanwhile, virtual machine will create, but let me just explain the Azure Data Factory. Okay, come to Azure Data Factory. Azure Data Factory, if you see, go to Manage tab. Okay, where I am going in Manage tab, if you see here, integration runtime. What is the default integration runtime we have? What is the default integration runtime? Auto resolve integration runtime. What is the type of this integration runtime?
Azure.
Not Azure. See this here you can see it's a Azure. Now let's say if I want self-hosted IR, how to get it? So if you want to create a new integration runtime, that is self-hosted IR, not a Azure IR. Azure IR is a default. If you want to create a new Azure IR, how to create? Let me show you first. Click new. So first I am explaining how to create a new Azure IR. Click new here. You need Azure or self-hosted, which one? So if you want any of that, you need to select that first option. Now you need to differentiate. You need Azure or self-hosted. Let's say first go with the Azure. Double click. You just give my own Azure IR. Okay, now come now. What is auto resolve? Anybody aware what is auto resolve?
It picks up our nearest location.
Very good. What it fix the nearest location? Example, let's say you need to move data from India to US, or let's say you want to move data from India to Pakistan. Very simple example. You want to move data from India to Pakistan. If your compute you have in US, what happens? You need to read data from India to US, from US to Pakistan, you need to send it. So it is very, very difficult if you choose your East-West. Okay, meaning you need to move data from India to Pakistan, but you are choosing the compute, the person who will copy this data from India to Pakistan, that person you are choosing from US. This is a wrong. It takes more time. It is not improves the performance. That's why you need to use the auto resolve. Auto resolve means automatically it resolves the region. What region it has to take, it will. Okay, one second. So basically, it will automatically decide in which country the compute it has to launch. That's why the default integration runtime also auto resolve. Region is not fixed. See, the region is auto resolve, meaning based on from where to where you are moving, it takes nearest location. In the nearest location, it launches the compute infrastructure. In nearest location, it launches the compute infrastructure. Remember, click new here. Again, Azure self-hosted. I need Azure. So you can use auto resolve, or let's say in particular region I want East to West. Choose East to West. Click create. That's a simple. Azure IR, if you want to create the integration on time on Azure IR, this is in East to West. I choose it. Okay, you can use this IR also from now onwards for whatever labs we have done. For all those labs, you can use this integration on time. So how to create self-hosted integration on time now? Click new again. Azure or self-hosted, select it. So which one we need to select? Self-hosted. Okay, double click on this. So this I'll say I self-hosted. Okay, so then click. See, the type is what? Self-hosted. Now click here. So it asks you to install. So one of these options you need to follow. One of these options you need to follow. The recommended approach is manual setup. Instead of going with the auto setup everything, let's go with the manual setup, because you will come to know step by step. Okay, where we need to install this self-hosted IR. Oh my God, whatever I am expecting, same thing happened. One second. This VM creation only challenging for us. So you people are choosing this. Just to give me 1 minute, okay? Because this is not available. We need to. Yeah, first thing is, let me explain the concept only. So if you come to ADF, right? So you need to install this particular integration runtime in the virtual machine, because virtual machine is there in another network. To connect to that virtual machine, what we need to install is we need to install integration runtime in the virtual machine. First step. Step one, what it is saying, download and install integration runtime. So you need to download and install self-hosted IR, integration runtime in the virtual machine. What is the second step? Use this key to register your integration runtime. That software you need to register with one of this key, so that this ADF can connect to the virtual machine as we have authorized with this key. Clear? Two steps. Step one, you need to download and install in the VM. Step 2 is you need to take this key to connect to that particular VM from the ADF. So VM to ADF to VM connection you need to do using the one of this key. But first you need to install that particular software. So these 2 steps we need to do. Clear to all of you? Okay. So now what I'll just check SQL Server is really existed. If it is not existed, what we need to do? Take public IP address. So public IP you can see here. I just enabled, click connect. So I'm just entering username of the VM, password of the VM. One second, let me check if everything is there. We no need to worry. Otherwise, we need to create. See, don't create whatever I did. Don't follow to do same thing now, because these are costly resources. If you create unnecessarily along with me, I'll face the issue. I'll not be able to continue the session because it will block few things. As free trial we are using, it has some limitations. You should understand. If you want to practice, please practice in your accounts. Okay, not in this account, basically.
Even if you just create and delete in just 15 minutes also, they charge for more.
Yes, yes. Azure Data Studio, SQL Server Management, all those things are there. 1 second, this VM is little bit slow. So SQL. No, I'll not be able to work with this system. 1 second. Only for today, you need to extend few minutes. Okay. So basically, yeah, I'll just delete them later. Otherwise, anyhow, that is
Malaya,
almost. Yes.
can we connect to your studio, SQL Studio, on your local machine?
We can connect, but SQL Server itself not there. That's the problem. Okay, so now portal.age.com. So let me use the pay as you go subscription. Okay. Just go into the virtual machine. You have to be very careful when you are creating. So I'm just doing everything again from the scratch. So in this account, okay. Subscription is this. I'm just saying cloud funding for Archie. Click OK. So virtual machine, you can say Azure VM SQL Server. Any location you choose, availability, zone, availability zone. So basically, you don't require no infrastructure redundancy required. No infrastructure redundancy means what? If this VM is down, you need one more. So that is what it is enabled, but I just disabled. I don't want that. See all images. So image means it's all the required softwares they'll create a bundle. So that is nothing but an image. Okay. Just click on this. Gen2. Let's go with this otherwise. Gen2, okay. Yeah, I'm just selecting the SQL Server 2019 standard and Windows Server 2019 Gen2 generation 2. So latest versions I'm taking. So this is the username, same password I'm giving here. I hope everybody remember, right? So this is the virtual machine username. Then you go to SQL Server settings directly, enable SQL authentication, because two types of authentications will be there, right? One is Windows authentication, second one is SQL authentication. So SQL authentication username I'll say cloud funding. Click replace create. So I'll show you these two things, okay? This is basically it takes some 12 rupees per hour or something, okay? Click create, but don't leave like that. Just come to portal.age.in. See, I just create a virtual machine. Now I'll just go and create the data lake storage Gen2. Data lake storage Gen2. Go to storage account. Create storage accounts. Cloud Pandit -RG. So storage name Cloud Pandit Gen2 1706. Somebody asked, is it a globally unique name, right? So it's not a globally unique, I guess, right? Because same with the same name SQL Server, like say with the same name virtual machine already existed in our account, but the same name I am using in this account also, it is not throwing any other. Clear? So advanced, okay. Enable hierarchical namespace, click replace create. Okay. So similarly, we need to create what? We need to create what? Azure Data Factory. Go to Data Factories. Create Data Factory. So Data Factory name is already taken Cloud Pandit video. Okay, so simply put Cloud Pandit 2022. We get all the names of Cloud Pandit video. V2 1706 2022. His name is there. Git configuration will configure later. Click to replace create. So what all things we have done as a virtual machine I created, ADF I created, and ADLS Gen2 I created. Okay. So now virtual machine, once virtual machine is available, we can able to do everything. So it takes 7:33, right? It takes at least nearly 10 minutes.
We have one question here.
Yes.
How you are creating the ADF and Azure data lake once again? You already created in another account. So we can connect
that
from
account
that
is
account
different. This account is different. You cannot like move data from this account in this account SQL Server, in that account Azure Data Factory. You cannot do like that. Okay.
Okay, both are in the same subscription level.
No. This is another account basically. Completely new credentials, new client kind of thing. Okay.
So we can connect from our earlier account also, right? To that VM.
So there is a lot of permissions and all those required, but see generally, so once you log in with this, there will be tenant, everything will be different. All the different directories tenant will be there. Okay, your everything will be changed, the subscription ID, everything. So if you want to give such like account to account level permission, you need to do a lot of Azure Active Directory admin related tasks. Okay, so that we don't require at this time. So as we are using this account, try to do everything in this account.
Okay.
Okay.
But it is possible, right?
It is possible, but you need to do a lot of admin tasks. I don't see like you have people who are using two different credentials. Why somebody will use two different accounts in real time? Just to think, is there any use? It's it basically a burden for you to maintain those things in the two different accounts.
Yeah, but if the source is different, they have their
Source is
own
different,
VM.
then you will see source is different, then you will bring it data from there to here. You can connect it. Okay. So in that case, you can connect, but you will not like intentionally will not do. So if your source is different, so to ingest data from that source, you will definitely connect and bring data. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Most of the
I'm
time.
just opening. Yeah, right. So I'm just following step by step. So first important thing is, if you want to connect to this particular on-premise SQL server, what you need is you need a self-hosted IR. So how to get self-hosted IR? We just discussed. Go to integration time. See, the default one is auto resolve will be there whenever you create a Azure data factory. Now click on the self-hosted I need. Okay, screen is loading, right? So you need to give this name. Name of this one is Cloud Pandit self-hosted. Okay, validating integration on terminal. Type is self-hosted. Click create. When you created, it will ask you to do this. So okay, I'll tell you step one how to do. Once the VM is available, then only we can able to do any of this. Okay, that's just for a few more minutes. Meanwhile, if anybody have any questions related to today's session, please ask.
Yeah, Malaya. If we need to move data from within the cloud, so can we use self-hosted IR in
Yes,
that case also?
yes, you can. See, I'll talk about few things as we have some time. Azure, yeah, managed, installed, upgrades, taken care by who will take care? You should guess it. Who will take care?
Azure.
Microsoft. Okay, Azure, Microsoft will take care. Self-hosted IR, everything managed, installed, upgrade, taken care by
Ourselves.
client. Okay, as we are users, let's say, as a company, we need to do. Okay, if you want to allow somebody to access our data, we need to install this and we need to manage all these things, because if you give control to them, they can move data from anywhere to anywhere. So you need to take care of this one, self-hosted IR. So now the question is, when the data is moving from cloud to cloud, so will you simply use self-hosted IR, Azure IR? Azure IR. Why? Because you don't need to worry too much about managing, installing upgrades, a lot of things you don't need to do. Everything will be managed by Microsoft. Simply whenever you want to ingest data from cloud to cloud, you can use Azure IR. But self-hosted IR, why we are using? Because it's a private data. It is there in a private network. Private data is there. To bring that data, we are using the self-hosted IR, and we are allowing the, we are just explicitly saying, okay, we installed and we have granted the required permission. You can ingest data from my network to cloud. So that's why this is required. But you can use self-hosted IR to move data from cloud to cloud, cloud to on-premise, on-premise to cloud, on-premise to. But whereas Azure IR can work only with cloud to cloud. Okay, Azure IR will work only with cloud to cloud data migration. Can you tell me, using Azure IR, can I move data from AWS to Azure?
No.
Both are cloud. Yes, it is possible. Both are public networks. Okay. So can I move data here using AWS to on-premise? Using ADF, can I move data from AWS to on-premise?
No.
Yes. No. You can able to move. You can move.
Okay, sir.
So you can also move data from AWS to Azure using the Azure IRS self-hosted. I'll show you. So virtual machine is available. Go to this resource. How to connect is, see, step one is come here, remote desktop. I need to connect to this mission remotely. Okay, I can so I can only access this VM through the network. That's why I need to open remote desktop connection. Double click on this. So it is showing the some IP addresses. So what is the computer IP address? How I will, so when I say Yogesh, somebody is responding. How? Because based on the name. Similarly, how you will identify one of your virtual mission when you have hundreds of missions, lakhs and crores of computers in this world? How you will identify each computer uniquely using IP address? Okay. Click connect. So just enter username, password. Click this. Wait for a minute because it loads all the things properly. So now basically it has to open few things. Fine, if it is not opening, I'll tell you. Come here. First, server manager. You search for server manager. Okay. Double click on this. This is very important. If you are not doing this, everything will work. The problem is it takes a lot of time for you to like click on pop-ups, adding pop-ups and all. So in the go to local server, click on Internet Explorer enhanced security configuration is turned on. Now you turn off these things. Why you need to turn off these? The reason is it will allow, like whenever you are accessing a new websites from this virtual machine, it will ask, add this. These are not secure website. Everything it's a not a secure website. So that's why I'm saying everything is a secure. So I feel everything is a secure, and I'm just confirming. Need to click here. So selected off. Click OK. Okay. So this will be turned off. Now you click here again. So search for SSMS. What is meant by SSMS? SQL Server Management Studio. Double click on this. SQL Server Management Studio. So now I'm checking within this virtual machine what we are expecting. SQL Server. We are expecting SQL Server, isn't it? So how to connect to the SQL Server? Two ways I mentioned. One is Azure Data Studio. Second one is SQL Server Management Studio. So this is the SQL Server Management Studio. How it will look like, how to connect to the new servers and all, I'll show you.
If we set up for one time, it will be there every time we log in, no, sir?
Yes, yes.
Thanks.
It takes up because it's a heavyweight software tool. It takes more time. Okay, just wait. So today you need to extend few more minutes. Okay.
Malay?
If anybody have multiple, yeah.
So if you have SQL Server in our local machine, no need to download, no need to create a VM on that, right? We can do directly from here, no?
No. If you have SQL Server in your laptop, so you install self-hosted IR. How I am going to install now? I'll show you how to install SQL Server. Self-hosted IR. Similarly, you also have to install self-hosted IR in your laptop, own laptop, personal laptop.
Okay. So there also we need to turn off IE, means server manager, all the things. Not required, no?
In our local system, we don't need to do. This is virtual machine. By default, all these things will be enabled. That's why we need to do.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so meanwhile, I'll request somebody to put multiple tables, metadata tables, inserting records into that table. Maybe you people have practice labs, right? You might have saved the data. Somebody please ping a few tables, already created metadata table and all those things, so that it will be easy for us to just directly insert, okay? Instead of again connecting it.
Malaya,
Yes.
is my voice audible?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I have question like suppose multiple developers are working on multiple stories, and if their stories goes on to the production, so they will be creating different integration runtime, or only on the same integration runtime they will be deploying all the ADFs.
Same integration runtime will work. See, integration
Okay.
runtime will not be deployed. Remember, integration runtimes, everything will come up with the Azure Data Factory that you are setting up.
So they will not be creating different to balance the workload. They will not be creating different integration runtime, correct? Same they will be using.
No. Self-hosted IR or integration runtime will be different. In dev one integration runtime, you have UAT one integration runtime, production one integration runtime. How you have one ADF for dev, UAT production. Similarly, IR also will be different for each environment. Okay. Those you are not deploying. Those are not like missions to deploy. Okay, that is not a table or something to deploy. Clear?
Yeah. Okay.
So first thing, yeah, please look at here. The server name. Server name is nothing but the VM name. So Azure VM SQL Server VER I have given, but there is a naming convention. So the maximum letters that will take is some number is there. I think 5, 7, 7 and 8, 15 characters. So that's why last R was not taken in as the server name. Now there are two types of authentication. Windows authentication. Windows authentication means same username and password you have used it to connect to the virtual machine. Same details it will take and it will connect to the server. Server is available. Okay. This is one way of authentication. Which type of authentication this is? Windows. Please spell out, friends. This is a Windows authentication. Okay. So now, yeah, we will see now how to do a other type of authentications. This is very slow. See, the name I edited, that's the problem.
Malaya, it won't work, right? We have to give our credentials, Cloud Pandit.
It is working. Okay, it is working. This is a Windows authentication. Now let's say click here, database engine. Now instead of Windows authentication, I want to go to SQL Server authentication. What is the SQL Server authentication username?
Malaya.
Cloud Pandit.
Malaya.
Cloud Pandit. Malaya is the username for the virtual machine, Windows login. So, but this is Cloud Pandit. Okay, SQL authentication is we have given a Cloud Pandit. So this is how in these two ways you can connect to the same server. Let's say I'll just disconnect one of these. Right click on this, click disconnect. Okay. Now only one is there. Do you have any databases? So under this server, you will not get any databases by default. Right click on this server, click new query. You need to create a database. So databases you can create in two ways. One is through UI options. Right click on the databases, click new database, and you can give the name. Otherwise, you can write a query to create a database. Create database. Database name is sample DB. Just execute this. So database is created. Right click on database and refresh. See database sample DB is there. Under sample DB, do you have any tables in this? No, you don't have any tables. So now what I want to do, I want to create some tables. Okay, I want to create some tables. Let me just take the text from. So I asked somebody to put everything that you created. Thanks, Prithvi.
Hi Malia, I had one doubt. You given virtual name as Azure VM SQL Server R, but you connected with SQL Server. At the end, you are not given.
What I said. You joined now or what? What I mentioned, it takes maximum 15 characters. So that's why it is skipping the tar I mentioned. Okay, it takes maximum 15 characters for the server name. As it is, the virtual machine name is more than 15 characters. So it just to truncate and it takes whatever names, whatever letters it can accept, only those many letters it will take. Okay, clear?
Then if you had the same names for the multiple server virtual machines, means how it will connect, Malaya?
Inside a virtual machine, we have a server. So first you need to connect to the virtual machine. So then you are going to connect to the server. So there won't be any issue in that. Okay.
My doubt is if we are creating virtual machine, first 15 characters same for all, then which virtual machine it will be connected? That's what. SQL Server 1, 2, 3 I had given. SQL Server 1, 4, 5, 6 I had given. But it will accept up to SQL Server.
Wait. You asked your question. You need to wait until I explain. You are not waiting. So that's the problem. You people are wasting time. I understood your question. Your question is you created a multiple servers with a different same name. You are saying, okay? So because as we just understood, same server, same name you can use in the multiple virtual machine names. So this is not a global unique. From each account, it's a different. But how you'll identify this is a server belongs to me, this server belongs to somebody is through IP address. So each mission will have a unique IP address. So through IP address only you connected to this and you identify this is your virtual machine, even though name is same. Clear?
Yeah,
Your
clear.
doubt is.
Thank you.
So basically this is a schema I created retail and I'm creating the cost table and inserting few records in this retail cost table. Okay, done. Next.
Malaya changed database. It's master.
Malaya, it is master database.
Thank you so much. Yeah, correct. That's correct. I did wrong. Okay. So two ways you can select this also. You can just select here, come here, you can select. Otherwise, what you can do is you can say use sample DB. You can execute this query so that it will change it to the sample DB. Okay. Now in the sample DB, you need to create a schema, create table, and insert data. Okay. So let me go one by one. The table is created. Now I'm inserting these 4 records. Okay, inserted 4. Very good. Next, employee table. You create employee table. Okay. In employee table also 4 records I'm inserting. Okay. This is under default schema. So next to create schema library dot books. Okay, good. Library dot books and create a metadata info source schema source table and a sync folder. Okay, so DBO employee library books retail cost. Okay, so all these things are looks good. You create a metadata table called metadata info and you create a table and insert records. Okay, 3 rows are inserted. Now right click on these tables, refresh this tables list. You will be able to see employee, metadata, info, books, and a cost. Okay, clear? So the data is there. Now we are good. We have created a, so basically, let me explain through the paint. We created a virtual machine under that SQL server we connected. We created SQL database. Under SQL database, we created our actual source table and metadata table. Now we have data lakes for Gen2. So in Gen2, we are not creating folders. Why we are not creating folders? Because folders will be created at runtime automatically by ADF. Now, the next immediate goal is I want to connect to the virtual machine. How to connect to the virtual machine? Step 1, very important, okay? Create self-hosted IR in the create self-hosted IR in the Azure Data Factory ADF. We created this or not? We already created, I guess, right? We created this, I think. See, we already created. Now download and install integration type. So just click on this. You will come to this page, okay? Now select this. Take this URL. Go to VM. So simple steps I am telling you. Go to Internet Explorer. Paste the URL here to download that self-hosted IR. Ask you later. Okay. Let me copy once again this enter URL. Copy. Come here. Paste it. Enter. So come down. So download. So this is the one you need to download. Okay, download. So which one? See 5.1781868154. This is the latest version. Select this latest version. Click next. So 1 GB will be there. So that 1 GB is going to download. Click yellow once. That click run. Once the download is done, I want to run it. So this is a step 1 we are doing. We are downloading and installing. First it will download. See here, it is just basically downloading. Okay. You want to see network speed and all. We are using the Azure network, right? View download speed, you can see very fast, 43 MB per second. So almost it's completed. So it is preparing to install. It is preparing to install. Okay. So click next. I accept the terms in the license agreement. Click next. Click next. Simple click next, install. Okay. So that's all you need to do. So it takes 1 or 2 minutes to install. Just wait. Okay. No.
For on-premise servers or systems, when we move data from on-premise to Azure, we don't have to. We have to create IR, right?
Yes.
And we don't have to create any virtual machines for that case, right?
See, on-premise means already setup will be there for clients. So here we need to create the setup also, right? On-premise environment and all.
Yeah. So here for practice, we are setting the environment.
Real time, you don't need to do. Already things will be available.
Yeah. Okay. We just need to set up IR.
Yes.
Okay.
So, Malaya, like we install the latest IR now, and after some day there is the updated version. Do we have to reinstall that, or it will be
No. There
automatic?
is I'll tell you. So there is things that you can do is auto updates. So you can just put something here. So you can schedule those things will be taken care automatically. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, it's done. Now click finish. Now download and installation is finished. Now it is asking you to register this integration runtime with Azure Data Factory. How to register? Go back to the Azure Data Factory. Now you see here keys, right? Key 1 or key 2. Any key you can copy any key. Go to virtual machine. Keep this here. Okay, then you click register. Then click finish.
Malaya, I have one question.
Yes.
Okay. I have one on-prem virtual machine where I have one database. Okay, but that data extracting by two different teams, means two different ADF. So that time we have to install two self-hosted integration runtime, or a single one will work.
I'll tell you. So self-hosted node is connected to the cloud services. Okay, this is done. So now you asked one question. I'll tell you. Refresh this first. So this is the running. Let's say this self-hosted IR is available in the another data factory. Let's imagine. So from this data factory, I need to connect to the same virtual machine. What you need to do? Click new. Click here. Sit down. Linked self-hosted. If you have a self-hosted IR which is running in another data factory, same IR you want to use in this data factory, you need to use this one. This will come in the future. Okay.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah, got it.
Yes, it is. Yes. So now you see this IR is running. Now go to linked services. Simple. We need two linked services. Click new. First we need to connect to the SQL server. So click SQL server. LS for SQL Server. So server name, what is the server name? What is the server name? Not as virtual machine name, okay, remember. The server name, you can see this is the server name. Copy server name from here to here. What is the database name? Database name you can see sample. What is this? Sample DB, okay. Just come back. Carefully observe, everybody please. Sample DB. SQL authentication, I am trying to use. What type of authentication? SQL authentication. I'll just say Cloud Pandit. And here I'll just put my password. Okay, test connection. Connection will succeed or will fail?
Will fail.
It will fail.
Why it will fail?
You have used auto resolve runtime. You have to use self-hosted.
Many people will make this mistake. I'm telling you, many people will make this mistake and they'll say, we are not able to connect with the virtual machine using I have done self-hosted IR, I have registered self-hosted IR. What is the use? You need to select that here. Connect to via which type of IR. You need to select the type of IR which you want to use. Even you did all the steps, finally you are not selecting that particular self-hosted IR where you need to select. Okay, that you need to look into it. Okay, so it takes more time, but ultimately it will not connect. It will simply say failed. Okay, see it failed. So it will tell you cannot connect to the SQL database server. All these things. Ingest configuration is that makes so firewall LOS integration. A lot of error messages it will show not found. Now I'll just use this self-hosted IR test connection. The connection is successful or not? Yes, create it. I'll click new connection to the data lake storage Gen2. So I'll say LS for ADLS Gen2. The account key subscription is this. The storage account name is Cloud Pandit Gen2. It will test testing connection is successful or not successful.
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 It will be successful. Successful. But if I change the VM to this, will it succeed or will it fail?
It will fail.
Why it will fail? What I said, self-hosted IR can be used anywhere from on-premise to cloud, cloud to cloud, anywhere to anywhere you can able to use the self-hosted IR. So that's why you can also use self-hosted IR to connect to the cloud services. See, it is succeeded. Create it. Anything you can use. Got it? Clear? Now come to author tab. Let's create a pipeline quickly, new pipeline. So what you can do is lookup activity we will use. Why we are using lookup activity in the pipeline? Can you tell me?
For getting metadata information.
Most important thing is till here whatever we did, that is important. From now onwards, whatever we are doing, that is we already did it. So that's why I go a little bit fast from here, but whatever I have done as of now, any questions on that? Whatever I have done as of now, any questions in that? No questions, good. Come to lookup. I hope everybody know lookup we are using to read a metadata table. Okay, to read a metadata table. So metadata is there in the SQL server. So go to SQL server. Okay, DS for SQL server. This is a lookup transformation, lookup data set. Use same connection which we established and select the table. Which table you need to select? Metadata info. Click OK. So first important thing is you need to debug. Just to debug this. Debug this. Very important. You people has to do same way what I am following. Don't by heart anything. Okay. Right click. You know you need to take these values. So look up output that values you need to take. Just copy to clipboard and put everything here. Okay, fine. Now I need to pass this lookup to the where for each. But we need to see advanced level how to do all those things. I'll explain to you tomorrow. Settings, come here, sequential, one by one I want to go. Items, add dynamic content, select lookup output dot value, click OK. Okay, this one only, right? So lookup output dot value we need to give, so that all these items we can pass it to the for each. Go inside for each, use your simple copy activity. What this copy will do? It reads data from SQL Server. So the source is SQL Server. Click SQL Server. So which data set? DS for SQL DB source. Basically, you can reuse same thing. Let's go like this. Okay. So table name. Do I need to hardcode Prithvi? Srija? Do I need to take any of one table here? No, right? We need to create a parameters. How many parameters we need in this data set? Prithvi? How many parameters we need for SQL DB?
2 parameters.
2. Very good.
One is source schema.
Schema. Very good. Another one is for source table. See, once you practice, you will be able to understand everything very easily. Click edit here. Click add dynamic content. Source schema. This is source table. Source table. Okay. Next pipeline source schema, source table. Next thing is basically, okay, come to pipeline. So we will pass the value. Just hold on. Okay, come to sync. Sync is what? Gen2. ADLS Gen2 as a CS I am loading. CS ADLS Gen2. It's a sync. Okay. Linked services there is. Browse it. You don't have any folders, right? So you need to create a like same. You need to create a parameter. You need to pass it. Click OK. Come to sync. Create a parameter called DS param for sync folder. Where I need to select this folder, file path, add dynamic content, sync folder. Click OK. Okay. Now come to pipeline 1. Now I need to pass here the item values. So let's say this is the item. If you want to pass schema name, what you need to do? Item dot source schema. Item dot source schema. So people who have not attended all my trainings, they will not be able to understand completely this one. Source table. Source table means if you want a table name, item dot source table. Same. Next, sync folder. Copy this. Come to sync. Add dynamic content again. Item dot sync folder. So first, when this item is given, dbo.emp folder will dbo.employee table we will read, and it will write it into employee out. Library.books table it will read, it will write it into library book out. Retail.cost it will read, it will write it into retail cost. Okay. Now let's not create or debug. Let's create a trigger. New/edit trigger. Click a new trigger. So this is a trigger for scheduled based. Okay, and the schedule is okay. I want to run pipeline today at Chennai IST time zone. Today I want to run this particular pipeline. Let's say daily basis. Every day it has to run. Okay, what time it has to run is 8 o'clock 18 minutes. I want to run pipeline today. 8 o'clock 18 minutes. I want to run pipeline today. Specify end date today only. Okay, after maybe 9 o'clock 9:45 it is going to be stopped. So only one time it will run at 8 o'clock 18 minutes. Start trigger creation is click OK. Click OK. You don't have any pipeline parameters, that's why it is not taking any trigger parameters. Publish it. Click publish. See, you need to practice all previous sessions, otherwise you will feel difficult. Okay, So today I'll do one thing. I'll share two sessions. One is this session. Second one is the Azure account, how to create step by step. Step by step I have explained there. So please just follow that particular video. I also explained recently how to create the account for all of you, right? See, I don't need to run any pipeline. At 8 o'clock, 80 minutes, it will run automatically. 30 seconds, it will start running our pipeline and it copies data automatically. Clear? People whoever don't know how to create Azure account, let me know. Okay, I'll explain. Because people who are busy and all, they can.
Is there any credit card required compulsory for creating account?
Credit card. Not credit card. You can have a debit card also. Debit card also supported now. 1 year back, it is only supports credit card, but now it supports debit as well. See, at 8 o'clock 80 minutes exactly, scheduled trigger ran our pipeline. This pipeline is running now. So look up, read all these things. Okay, look up has read all these three items given to the for each. For each is calling the copy activities one by one. So first copy activity succeeded. You will be able to see in the ADLS Gen2 to that folder. Whatever data is loaded, that data you can able to see. See here, employer. Oh, everything is done already. Okay, all the data came when just now 18, 18, 18, 25, 18, 18, 30, something. Cleared all of you. So, but advanced level you can do. The advanced level, what it is, example, if the custom table is not there, but in metadata you have inserted. So pipeline is going to fail. How to control such type of failures and all, you can able to do a lot more things. We are going to discuss all those things. Clear? Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, so next important thing is, let me stop the recording.